BookTube. Welcome to the History Shelf. My name is Peg. It's been a minute since my last video. I apologize for the delay. So I thought this video could be just an update on things. Today is December 21st. It's a Thursday. And I just started my Christmas vacation on Tuesday. But as always, there's always something eventful happening in our household. But I thought maybe this could just be an informal video and talk about what I'll be reading, what I'm reading now, and what I hope to be reading over my break before the new year. Several books are books for review that I'll be reviewing for some different publications. Some are for a couple of informal book clubs. And, oh, I just forgot another one I needed to bring over. One moment. I'm back. Thank you. I just wanted to grab this other book. Yeah, so let's just catch up. If you're new to the channel, hi, welcome. I've got a lot to talk about as far as books I'll be reading. I need to make a video soon for my announcement video for Historathon 2024, which I'm pleased that I'll be a co-host again, and I hope to do better next year as far as having more books posted. I still need to have a book chat filmed with Bill Rutenberg for one of our books that we read together for Historathon 2023. So we're hoping to get that scheduled over the Christmas holiday. But anyway, what's going on right now? Well, first of all, it is unseasonably warm here in the outskirts of Denver, Colorado. 63 degrees, sunny. Just got back from having a lovely lunch with my sister, and that was fun. And now I'm going to be making a video or two so I can get a few of these in the pipe for you guys. But I got a lot of other work going on, even though I'm not working my day job. I am a new U.S. reviews editor at Historical Novels Society for their publication, Historical Novels Review. And I'm packaging together and editing dozens of book reviews that other people have written for the upcoming February 2024 issue. So that's exciting. That is due this weekend. And I'm also writing a couple of reviews for that issue. So I've got that going on. And in fact, these are the two books that I recently read and I'll be writing reviews for, in case you're interested. I've shown them on the channel before, but this is a work of nonfiction that sometimes Historical Novels Review will take a few pieces of nonfiction, covering nonfiction books. But White House Wild Child about Alice Roosevelt was fantastic. It was just delightfully written. This is by Shelley Fraser Mickle. So I'll be writing a short review for that. And also the new book by P.T. Duderman, EWO, 26 Charlie, a World War II adventure novel, which is coming out. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, no, it actually came out at the end of November. So there you have it. So I need to write those up. I've been reading a lot. Unfortunately, Martina's sick, and so that's why it's been a little bit quiet around here. I've been trying to finish up my day job before I go on vacation. And she has shingles, guys. You know, it's like I had it last year and now she has it. And a very painful, it's in her ear and it's affecting like her inside of her mouth. It's just horrible. She went to the doctor and was on vacation Tuesday, and it was just like the pain. She was undertreated for it. She was sick back in November, and the first doctor did not give her enough antiviral medication, and now it's come back with a vengeance. So we were back at the doctor on Tuesday, and she's back on medication for a longer, more strenuous run of medication. So prayers and fingers crossed for her that she will start to feel better, because the ear pain can be quite excruciating at times. So I've been doing that, trying to take care of her, make sure she's getting rested and the dogs are not bothering her too much. So we still haven't done our wrap up of Miss Marple at Bertram, Miss Marple's mystery, the Agatha Christie's Marple mystery at Bertram's Hotel. Um, I know she probably just wants to skip it because she, it wasn't our favorite. So I'm still trying to figure out when or if we'll do that one. And we still have Nemesis we want to start reading, but I'm waiting to see when she's going to be feeling better. So stay tuned for that, guys. This is just some programming updates. Thanks for sticking through these notes, housekeeping notes. What else have I been doing? Uh, just recently finished a fantastic new mystery from Simone St. James, which is coming out very soon. It's called Murder Road. Keep your eyes out for that. I just wrote a review of that for Library Journal, submitted that review yesterday. Oh, it was a fantastic, fantastic mystery. I didn't realize what a fantastic writer she is. Just delightful characters, awesome dialogue. And don't tell Martine, she would be apoplectic to see that I am drinking tea with the tea bag still in it, which apparently is verboten. I'm an American. What can I say? That's what I do. I drink bad tea, or I drink it improperly. I guess right now I just want it strong. So it's steeping. The stronger, the better. You know what I'm saying? Mm. Um, but yeah, I've got lots of reading to do, guys. So I thought, you know what? I, I have other like book hauls to do. I need to do a couple of my military history book hauls from Casemate and also from Bloomsbury Osprey Publishing, and I will do those over my vacation. But I was like, let's just have a chatty video about what I'm reading right now. And I'll be doing the Historathon 2024 announcement soon. But I want to be a little more prepared for that. But, I came home from lunch with my sis, and Martine's resting downstairs, and I thought, you know what, this is a good time to do it. So let's just talk about what I've been reading. Okay, let's, with no rhyme or reason, um, I'll show you what's in progress right now. I have to make some serious headway on this book because I'm supposed to be submitting a review for this very soon for World History Encyclopedia. This is Wahabism, the history of a militant Islamic movement by Cole Bunzel. Um, yep, I'm still in the introduction, uh, but every time I start reading it, it just draws me in because I am really kind of fascinated. There goes that word again. Did I say fascinated or fantastic? You know what? 2024 resolution is to lose some of these words. Uh, I've just been so, I won't say tired. I've been feeling better than I have in a long time, but I'm worried about Martine and I just want her to feel better. And yeah, even on my vacation, I'm doing work, so I do need to make sure that I'm taking some downtime for myself so I stay feeling good and healthy and energetic. But yes, this is just I've always just been intrigued by the development of religious movements, and in this case, the most extreme, militant, as it says in the subtitle, movement within Islam. And so, this guy really knows his stuff. So I was trying to read up on Cole Bunzel, um, and why he knows so much about this stuff. But um, yeah, anyway, so I I need to make some serious headway on Wahhabism, the history of a militant Islamic movement. Um, and yes, and I'm still working through this one, which is part of a book club, which I'm engaging in with BookBrowse. I've already posted a few times on that. I'm halfway through it. So this is, have I showed this to you guys yet? If I haven't, I think you'll be really intrigued. This is 1984 Julia, a novel, a retelling of George Orwell's 1984 by Sandra Newman. Now I'm backing into this, or I'm coming into this backwards because along with this I was sent a copy of George Orwell's 1984, which I am embarrassed to say I have not read yet. Um, I don't think it was ever assigned to me in school. I don't know why, but I was talking with the editor at BookBrowse, and she's like, I think it would be interesting too if a few people read this in reverse order and read it from the woman, the partner of George Orwell's, Winston Smith, and read this book first, and then read Orwell's work. Because this is definitely a more feminist, like women-centered telling of the 1984 Orwell story. Now, I have to remind myself as I'm reading this, and first of all, let me tell you, the writing is superb. Now, I know that she's obviously building off the world that Orwell built in 1984, but this character of Julia, she's just so dynamic. She's very three-dimensional and problematic, I have to say. So it's kind of interesting because, I'm going into this not knowing the end of 1984, but halfway through I could see things are not going to go well. So let me just read the book jacket description in case you're curious about the take that Newman, the spin she puts on this story. Julia Worthing is a mechanic who works in the fiction department at the Ministry of Truth. It's 1984, and Britain, now called Airstrip 1, has long been absorbed into the larger transatlantic nation of Oceania. Oceania has been at war for as long as anyone can remember, and it is ruled by the ultra-totalitarian party, whose leader is a quasi-mythical figure called Big Brother. In short, it is the world of Orwell's 1984. All her life, Julia has known only Oceania, and until she meets Winston Smith, she has never imagined anything else. She is an ideal citizen, cheerfully cynical, always ready with a bribe, piously repeating every political slogan while believing in nothing. She routinely breaks the rules, but also collaborates with the regime when necessary, and knows how to survive in a world of constant surveillance, thought police, newspeak, doublethink, child spies, and the black markets of the prole neighborhoods. Everyone likes Julia. Then one day she finds herself walking toward Winston Smith in a corridor and impulsively slips him a note, setting in motion the devastating, unforgettable events of the classic story. Julia takes us on a surprising journey through Orwell's now iconic dystopia, with twists that reveal unexpected sides not only to Julia, but to other familiar figures in the 1984 universe. This unique perspective lays bare our own world in haunting and provocative ways, just as the original did almost 75 years ago. So yes, I am halfway through Julia, 1984 Julia, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, it's just crazy how much 1984 still speaks into today. Um, it's very eerie. It's very eerie reading, but I highly recommend it. Just so far, I'm halfway through it, I'm loving it. The writing is, like I said, it's just brilliant. So this is what I'm reading now, and I want to make more headway through this so I can get the author on my show, hopefully in January or February. He has got another book in the series coming out soon. But this is Mud and Misery by Patrick Kirk. Yeah, I need to make more headway. I'm enjoying it so far. I find the writing very good. And it takes us back into the world of World War One, which recently covered in our World War November, uh, she called reading event with some of my other fellow booktubers. That was a lot of fun, and I want to finish this, and I want to get Patrick on soon, and maybe we can time it with the release of the second book in the series. And I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. Woo! So Mud and Misery. This is going to be my vacation, finishing up reading. I want to make sure I'm reading some things that I'm really uh, excited to read and have some more fiction. This this broadcast is brought to you by LaCroix Limoncello. Now this is a really good flavor, by the way. Mm. Yeah, maybe LaCroix could sponsor my channel. Ah. Anyway, I like to have a little mix when I'm working and also reading. I like to have a cold drink and I like to have a warm drink. Isn't that funny? So that's why I got the tea over here. All right, got two other books I haven't started yet. The other one I am currently reading, and I want to finish by tomorrow because I'll be writing a review for it on Saturday for Shelf Awareness. This is a book that's coming out January 23rd. And it's blowing me away. I don't know. I've never heard of this book. And there's a reason why, and I'll read it to you from the book description. I have an advanced reader copy of Cold Crematorium, Reporting from the Land of Auschwitz by Joseph Debreceni, with an introduction by Jonathan Friedland. This is as raw as it gets, folks. I have 90 pages left, and it is brutal, but written. So, I mean, it's just eloquent, profound, deep. So Joseph Debreceni was a reporter, so he'd been a journalist prior to his experiences in a labor camp. I'll read to you the description right now. Hi, Daisy. Someone came in here. So this is a book that has been like rediscovered, and that's why it's new. And I plan on getting a finished copy of this. I have to get a finished copy of this. I have underlined so many things. The writing is so beautiful, of something so ugly and evil and horrific. And I've underlined, I have written in the margins. Um, it is, it's it's so good. It's like watching. It's like you're driving slowly past a horrific accident or tragedy, and you can't pull your eyes away. My best way of describing this reading experience. Says here, the first English language edition of a lost memoir by a Holocaust survivor, offering a shocking and deeply moving perspective on life within the camps. Joseph Debreceni, a prolific Hungarian language journalist and poet, arrived in Auschwitz in 1944. Had he been selected to go left, his life expectancy, they're talking about the line that they formed with a Nazi at the head who told people to go to the left or the right. So that's what they're saying here. Had he been selected to go left, his life expectancy would have been approximately 45 minutes. One of the lucky ones, he was sent to the right, which led to 12 horrifying months of incarceration and slave labor in a series of camps, ending in the, in quotes, cold crematorium, the so-called hospital of the forced labor camp Dornhau. Hi, Goldie. Where prisoners too weak to work awaited execution. But as Soviet and Allied troops closed in on the camps, local Nazi commanders, anxious about the possible consequences of outright murder, decided to leave the remaining prisoners to die in droves rather than sending them directly to the gas chambers. Debreceni recorded his experiences in cold crematorium, one of the harshest, most merciless indictments of Nazism ever written. And I agree. This haunting memoir, rendered in the precise and unsentimental style of an accomplished journalist, is an eyewitness account of incomparable literary quality. The subject matter is intrinsically tragic. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, the subject matter is intrinsically tragic, yet the author's evocative prose, sometimes using irony, sarcasm, and even acerbic humor, compels the reader to imagine human beings and circumstances impossible to comprehend intellectually. First published in Hungarian in 1950, it was never translated into a world language due to McCarthyism, Cold War hostilities, and anti-Semitism. Amazing. More than 70 years later, this masterpiece, and it really is. I don't know if you can see where my bookmark is here. I've got about that much left here. I would call it a masterpiece. Like I said, I plan on getting the final edition of the final finished copy. More than 70 years later, this masterpiece that was nearly lost to time is now available in 15 languages, finally taking its rightful place among the greatest works of Holocaust literature. So I'm really hoping when this publishes, and this is coming out from St. Martin's Press, so bully for you, St. Martin's Press, for being bold and brave enough to bring this out. It's more timelier than ever, I think, and uh, it's hard to read. I'm not going to lie. And even in the introduction, the guy says, Jonathan Friedland says, this is not for the squeamish, and it really isn't. It's profound. I take my time with this one. I read a couple chapters a night, but I definitely will be writing a glowing review of this for shelf awareness. I mean, I don't see anything going. It's just beautifully written, and it's heartbreaking, and it's chilling. It's very chilling. So I really hope this book reaches a wide audience. I hope that their marketing campaign. I hope this is talked about on some of the different C-SPAN book club book TV. Book TV lately in the last few years, I stopped watching it because it's just turned into a social. Every book is about social justice or something. It's like uber woke. It's just like I don't even know if there's like literature anymore that they talk about, or it's just, well, can we talk about the Holocaust? People don't want to talk about it anymore, but we need to still talk about it. Um, yeah, yeah. So I don't watch book TV anymore. Unfortunately, it used to be really good, but now it just has some type of a weird agenda. But yeah. So Cold Crematorium, reporting from the land of Auschwitz by Joseph de Brexeni. It's wow. It's probably one of the strongest works I've read all year as we come into the waning days of 2023. Okay, what else? Another book I need to get on right away because I'm writing a first impressions review of this. I have a few weeks left to get my review in, but this looks just on a lighter note. Um, this book is coming out in February from W. Norton, and this is called Strong Passions: A Scandalous Divorce in Old New York by Barbara Weisberg. So let's see here. What could possibly go wrong in a wealthy matriarch's country home when her dilettante son, his restless wife, and his widowed brother live there together? Strong Passions, set in the vanished world of Edith Wharton's Old New York, recounts the true story of a tumultuous marriage. In 1862, Mary Strong stunned New York. Wait, in 1862, Mary Strong stunned her husband Peter by confessing to an affair with his brother. Peter sued Mary for divorce for adultery, but not before she accused him of being unfaithful and kidnapped their child. Writing social history at its most intimate, Barbara Weisberg portrays a family and country in turmoil as they faced conflicts over women's changing roles, men's financial power over their wives, and male custody of children. She presents the chaotic courtroom and panoply of witnesses who provided contradictory and often salacious testimony. Then she asks us to be the jury, deciding each spouse's guilt and the possibility of a just resolution. Ooh, I like it. I get to be judge. About 270 pages. A little bit different from things that I read, but yeah, let's read about it. A Scandalous Divorce in Old New York by Barbara Weisberg. So I'll be starting that as soon as I finish up Cold Crematorium for my weekend review. And okay, so we got those. And what else? So let me tell you what I'm reading. I just started a buddy read with Patrice Jones, our good friend Patrice Jones. She's a one of BookTube's biggest watchers and supporters, and just a huge reader on her own part. And she loves to buddy read with a lot of different booktubers and non-booktubers. But it's been my pleasure to get to know her, and we box her, and we've done several buddy reads. She and I did Moby Dick, so I'm pretty impressed with ourselves for doing that. So cheers to you, Patrice. But we're reading something different this time around. This is one of the books I picked up on one of my last book hauls from Hamilton Book, the bargain bookseller. So we started this on Monday. I'm a little behind, but I'm going to catch up tomorrow. I'm going to read through chapter 1. But we are reading together The Great War and the Birth of Modern Medicine, a history by Thomas Helling, MD. Yeah, it's Pegasus Books, and all about how medical advancements were kind of spurred on by World War One. And again, it's another way to kind of stay close to the topic of World War One after finishing World War November, along with the fiction I'm reading, Mud and Misery. So yeah, it's all about the startling medical advances that developed as a reaction to the horrors unleashed by World War One. So I'll keep that pretty brief. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I'll be reading this starting tomorrow, and we'll take as long as we need for this buddy read. So that's what's on my list. What else do we have? All right. 2 books that I need to get to for reviews due by the end of the year. For book trip, this is work of fiction. It's the second in a trilogy, a planned. No, wait. This is a third book in the Frontier Traveler series. Um, so I'm kind of jumping into this without having read the first 2, but the editor said it's way okay. Um, and I'll probably just kind of check out reviews of the first 2 books and just get a sense of what those 2 books were about. But this is called Bitter Ground: The Epic Journey of a Banished People by D.A. Galloway. And it looks like Burning Ground and Fatal Ground were the first 2 books in the series. This is put out by, who's the name of the publisher? It might be, it's Continuous Mile, so this might be independently published. I'm not sure. So what does it say here? 126 days, 1,200 miles, a fight for survival. After Graham Davidson witnessed Custer's defeat at Little Bighorn in June 1876, he wanted a place to raise his family away from the battles of the Great Sioux War. Graham and McAwee, that must be his wife, traveled with their 2 young children to northeast Oregon, hoping to find a home with the Nez Perce under Chief Joseph. Some people say Nez Perce. I think it's Nez Perce. When several Indian bands refuse to abide by a treaty that forces them onto a reservation, their peaceful life in the Wallowa Valley is shattered. Graham and his family joined 700 Nez Perce? Nez Perce? You know what? Peggy hates thinking that she's pronouncing things incorrectly. Let's do the pronunciation, shall we? You guys love it when I look things up. Let's hit play. No, I don't want an ad. Why do you do this to me? Here we go. Looking at how to pronounce the name given to Native American River Plateau. Wow. I thought it would just say the name, and instead I've got some French guy telling me how to say it. I was right. I was right. At least according to Merriam-Webster. Nez Perce. Purse. Okay. But they also say Nez Purses. Nez Purses. Nez Purse. Nez Purse. All right, but one of these definitions spells it out as Nez Perce, but I'm gonna go with Nez Perce. I stand corrected. Thanks for following me along on that really awkward moment. I'm not editing that out. I like to be live and real with you. So Nez Perce. Dang it. I was trying to be too clever by half. So Graham and his family joined 700 Nez Perce in their flight from the U.S. Army in 1877. The caravan makes a perilous trek through Idaho, Yellowstone National Park, and Montana. The exiled people hope to reach Canada, where Lakota Chief Sitting Bull and his followers have taken refuge. Military leaders are determined to capture or kill the Nez Perce before they cross the border. Can Graham and McAwee's love withstand the trials of this odyssey? Will they make it to freedom? Or will they be among the casualties of the last Indian War? Follow their journey in this thrilling novel based on actual events. So it's historical fiction that unusually has pictures um, placed throughout. Um, so that's kind of interesting and different. Um, anyway, so I have a review of this due to BookTrib by the December 30th or so. So that'll be fun. I'm always into read, and you know what? I might go back and read the first two if I really like this one. So that's in the works. Um, oh, and a book I'll be reviewing for the Washington Independent Review of Books. Oof, definitely can run by some of this content by Martine. See if she has something to say about it. It's put out by Cambridge University Press. Looks like, I mean, this is a final copy, so this is already out, I think. Oh, I got the UK edition. Okay, so I got the UK edition, but this is Uncivil War, the British Army and the Troubles, 1966 to 1975 by Hugh Bennett. Um, so this is also due, this review is due to the Washington Independent by the 30th. It's going to be a good read. We're going to have about, how many pages is this book? About 270 pages. That's not too bad. There's a big bibliography, so I know this is well researched. Let's take a look at the book jacket description, shall we? When Operation Banner was launched in 1969, civil war threatened to break out in Northern Ireland and spread over the Irish Sea. Uncivil War reveals the full story of how the British Army acted to save Great Britain from disaster during the most violent phase of the Troubles, but in doing so, condemned the people of Northern Ireland to protracted, grinding conflict. Hugh Bennett shows how the Army's inability to repress Loyalist violence undermined the prospects for peace and heightened Catholic distrust in the state. British strategy consistently underestimated community defense as a reason for people joining or supporting the IRA. Interesting. Whilst senior commanders allowed the army to turn in on itself, hardening soldiers to the suffering of ordinary people. Okay, it's getting better. I was going to say, if this book is all about defending the British, we're going to have problems. My partner is Irish. I'm just, in case you're new to the channel. Um, she never was a supporter of the IRA, though. That her and her family, very much against that. By 1975, military strategists considered the conflict unresolvable. The army could not convince Catholics or Protestants that it was there to protect them and settled instead for an unending war. So I'm going to learn a lot, I hope, from this book. I have a small but growing library on the Troubles, and there's a lot of complexity. Um, yeah, there's a lot of complexity. Sometimes it can mirror like the Israel Palestinian conflict in a way. And Martinez talked to me in depth about that and why most of Ireland seems to be so pro-Palestinian is because she kind of senses that the people there see almost like a correlation of what the Irish suffered under British and the Palestinians under the Israelis, but it's more nuanced and there's some differences there, but I listen to what she's telling me as from her experience being Irish and living through that. Yeah, and knowing family who went through that. So it's interesting. Okay, so anyway, a little tangent there, but Uncivil War by Hugh Bennett. Again, I need to start this. I'll probably start reading it. Oh, Christmas Eve. I've got everything really charted out about charted out about when I can start reading certain books to meet certain due dates for reviews, um, and mixing in other stuff in the meantime. Now, some of these books obviously would fit well into a New History on the Horizon uh, video because I haven't shown some of these to you before because they've just come in since my last video a couple weeks ago. Like Cold Crematorium, Uncivil War, um, the Strong Passions book, right? Now, I have a stack of books here that I'm going to try to read as many as I can and write reviews for them for shelf awareness. Sometimes I get a stack of arcs, and it's just up to me to how many, at least two. I try to get at least two in a month for shelf awareness. Sometimes I do three. A lot of these look great. Some of these are fiction. One of these are fiction. The rest are nonfiction history. So I'm gonna kind of jump forward a little bit for some of my early January reviews that are due, but I'll be starting to read them next week towards the end of the year, like maybe the 28th or the 29th. Um, so for BookBrowse review, this looks really good. This is from Simon and Schuster. Oh, and I've got the pub sheet. So this, oh, okay. Maybe they're a little bit late to this game. This book is already out, actually. But this is, I'll be reviewing What the Taliban Told Me. Whoa, there's a weird, that color does not blend well with the light. What the Taliban Told Me by Ian Fritz. This came out November 7th from Simon and Schuster. Let's see. It's not too big of a book. Um, At 18, Ian Fritz joined the Air Force out of necessity. He hadn't been accepted into college thanks to an indifferent high school career. He too often slept through his classes as he worked long hours at a Chinese restaurant to help pay the bills for his trailer-dwelling family in Lake City, Florida. But the Air Force recognized his potential and selected him to become an airborne cryptologic linguist in the war in Afghanistan. And funny story, when I joined the Air Force, I totally wanted to get into the crypto. That's why I didn't get in to the crypto. Couldn't because I could barely say the word. I don't know why I stumble over it. Cryptologic, crypt, cryptologic, airborne cryptologic linguist. I did want to get into cryptologics though. I thought it would be so, let's say romantic, but it's learn a new language and then be so vital to missions overseas and stuff. But I ended up in public affairs, and I got some really good journalistic chops. I went to a hardcore journalism school where there's an 80% washout rate. Past that, and I've been a writer ever since. So yeah, I mean it all worked out. It played to my strengths. Obviously, speaking a foreign language isn't one of them. I can barely get out cryptologic. I don't fucking know. Okay. So yeah, he became a linguist in the war in Afghanistan. Over the course of two tours, Fritz listened to the Taliban for hundreds of hours, all over the country, night and day, in moments of peace and in the middle of battle. So what the Taliban told me is the powerful, timely memoir of his harrowing experiences coming of age in a war that is lost. So this is what he was fluent in. Fritz's fluency in Dari and Pashto, the main languages of Afghanistan, is his greatest asset to the military. Yet it becomes the greatest liability to his own commitment to the cause. His eavesdropping is critical to supporting special forces units on the ground. But there is no training to counter the emotional complexity that develops as you listen to people's most intimate conversations. Here, Fritz grapples with pride for his service and despair that he is instrumental in destroying the voices that he hears. Looking back on his service in the Air Force, Fritz shares what he learned about the people of Afghanistan, the war, and himself. So this sounds it's going to be so engrossing for me because, like I said, I kind of wanted to go into this field. And I can only imagine that you would have some of that emotional, psychological stuff to work through, that burden. So I'll be reviewing it again for a BookBrowse review. This review is due on January 8th. See, with BookBrowse reviews, I do put out my reviews for BookBrowse. There's usually a limited link for non-members because it is a book review site that is fantastic. The reviews are so well written. People really care about these books. Books that are bubbled up, they're not just the run-of-the-mill stuff. They really try to select the cream of the crop of interesting things with different viewpoints. And so I write longer pieces for BookBrowse review. My reviews can be upwards of 900 to 1,000 words. And then I write a beyond the book article, researching something from the book that takes you a little bit beyond it. So, and it's always up to me, as long as it hasn't been written about before, to choose what article or what aspect of the book jumped out at me. Then I'll do a little further research, and then I write a little nonfiction article and cite my sources. So it's always fun. But I always take it, these reviews take a lot more time, and I could use a whole weekend writing one of these reviews. But I've been with BookBrowse for how many years now? Oh, 5 or 6 years. I feel like it's been that long. But I love working for them and writing for them, and I will always share my links once these are published. And for a limited time, non-members to the site can read my reviews. I really encourage you to check out BookBrowse. I'll put their link below in the description box. Just check them out. I think a membership is like $20 a year or something like that. And there's book clubs, and you can log in and read along with others and buy a membership. And you can see me on there. You can read my pieces as well as a bunch of other fantastically written reviews. Thoughtful, erudite, just skillful reviews, edited, and beyond the book articles. It's just a wealth of juicy stuff for the book lover out there, for both fiction and nonfiction. Anyway, that's my plug for BookBrowse review. So I'll be starting that next week. Okay, so what else? I'm reviewing this for another publication, online publication, that it's one of those big ones where you stay anonymous. So I'm not going to say which one. This is also due, I think, January 8th. So, and this would also fit into my new History on the Horizon video. So if I do another new History on the Horizon on my break, you might see these again. And I won't maybe read the description. I'll point you back to this video, but I'll be reading and reviewing an Emancipation of the Mind, Radical Philosophy, the War Over Slavery, and the Refounding of America by Matthew Stewart. And this is put out by W. W. Norton. This book is coming out in March. So yeah, this is definitely on the horizon. But my review is due in early January. So let's see. I've got a pub sheet here. Let me just hold that up. There we go. I just don't want to blow it out too much. Emancipation of the Mind is a story about a previously dangerous idea that all men are created equal, which ignited revolutions in America, France, and Haiti, burst across Europe in 1848, and inflamed a new generation of intellectuals in the abolition movement. How exactly did American slavery lead to war? Why did that war result in emancipation? And what meaning does the war over slavery have for us now, especially in view of the subsequent betrayals of its revolutionary ideals? In most narratives, the role of religion is conveniently absent, but as Stewart notes, the fundamental aim of the slaveholding oligarchy in initiating the war was not merely to secede, but to reorganize the entire Union around an ideology that today we would classify as a form of religious fascism. The fundamental aim of America's anti-slavery leaders was not only to end slavery, but also to defeat this existential threat to democracy itself. That's a new angle that I haven't heard of before, and I am here for it. This is going to be a good read. With new perspectives on forgotten thinkers like Theodore Parker, a minister too radical even for the Unitarians, wow, that's saying something, and Parker's role in shaping the thinking of both Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, Matthew Stewart's vivid storytelling transforms our understanding of the origins and struggle over slavery in America, and offer piercing insights on struggles between democracy and elite power today. So keep your eyes out for this one, Matthew Stewart's An Emancipation of the Mind. from W. W. Norton, coming out in March. And yours truly will be reviewing it. Again, you can follow all my reviews by subscribing to all of my social media channels that are listed below the description box. When they come out, I post them onto social media and I tell you where to find them. So my reviews are all written. I've done a couple of video reviews and I'll try to do more, but my written reviews are my bread and butter, as it were. Okay, now it's starting to get a little chilly. I might have to shut the window. Yes, I have my window open on December 21st in Colorado. Um, God, we're at 45 minutes. I've been a chatty Cathy. So there's a bunch of books coming out for shelf awareness, not for shelf awareness, but they're coming out um, in February. And we typically have to have our reviews in a month before the publication date, which means if you select books you want to read and they're all publishing on February 6th, for example, that means I have to have a bunch of them read and written by January 6th. And I just don't know what's going to happen. But I've got 4 of these here. And I'm trying to pick out which ones to do. Oh, no, there's 2 fiction and 2 nonfiction here. Okay, I'm really excited about this one. This is from Basic Books, and this is coming out February 6th. It's a good 300-page book with tiny type, and this is A Nasty Little War, The Western Intervention into the Russian Civil War by Anna Reed. So it's, again, coming out in early February. I think I'm going to pick this one because it's just why I cover Russian stuff, like Russian revolutions, Soviet stuff. I'm all about the Russian history, especially around like the revolution in World War One. So this says, overlapping with the First World War, the Allied intervention in the Russian Civil War was one of the most ambitious military ventures of the 20th century. In A Nasty Little War, top Russia historian Anna Reed offers a sweeping account of the conflict, which drew in 180,000 troops from 15 different countries in theaters ranging from Poland to the Pacific. Launched in 1918 to prevent Germany from exploiting the power vacuum left by the Russian Revolution, the intervention morphed into a bid to destroy Bolshevism on the battlefield. How I wish that had actually worked. The collapse of the effort sapped British imperial swagger, chastened American idealism, and stoked militarism in France and Germany. Deeply researched and vividly told, this book reveals how the Allied intervention reshaped the West's relationship with Russia. Oh, all right. She's written a few books. Her name sounds familiar. I think she wrote a book on Leningrad. Okay, so I think this is the one. If this review is due January 6th, I've got to start reading it next week. Towards the end of the week. So I'm picking this one. Okay. Okay, I have a few more, but I know this video is getting long. And a couple of these are fiction. I think I might read this one because I think I can read it quickly. Plus, I have another book by him that I haven't started reading yet called The Company. It's Robert Little. This is a work of like espionage thriller stuff. So this book is coming out February 6th from Blackstone Publishing, and this is A Plague on Both Your Houses, a novel in the shadow of the Russian mafia. Hell yeah. So I'm going to have 2 books on Russian stuff here. This is a brand new novel, you guys, from New York Times bestselling author Robert Little. On Christmas Day, 1991, Mikhail Gorbachev delivered a 10-minute televised speech announcing his resignation as Soviet president. Moments later, with little pomp and less circumstance, the red flag was lowered from its floodlit perch atop the Kremlin and the Soviet Union ceased to exist. Into the vacuum, before a new democracy had time to put down roots, surged the Russian mafia, supplying what the new state could not. Krisha, or roof protection. Roof. Okay, protection for the privately owned businesses sprouting across the country. Roof, like ROOF. Rivalries turned bloody as Moscow's Jewish mafia battled the Osset Vori Zakoni, literally thieves-in-law, for control of the city. Caught up in the mayhem, Yulia, only daughter of the Jewish mafia godfather, and Roman, only son of the Osseta mafia godfather, are obliged to navigate the minefield of a star-crossed love affair as they attempt to escape a destiny that appears preordained. It's like a Romeo and Juliet in Moscow here. A plague on both your houses, obviously, and that comes from there. Is the fictional story of one bloody episode in Moscow's Great Turf War, when clans fought brutally in the streets, and the future of the Russian nation was anything but assured. Yeah. So slim little volume, about 200 pages. I'm going to crank through this next week, and I'll get that reviewed for shelf awareness. No problem. Now, if I can squeeze in a third, you guys, can I squeeze in a third? I have an interesting novel. Uh, it might be some type of, oh, I don't know. It could be a great novel. I don't know. It's called Trondheim, a novel by Cormac James. I and then I have this other slim volume, and this is nonfiction, another 200-page book. It just sounds so intriguing to me. I might be drawn to this one more. This is called Coming Out as Dalit. Sorry, a memoir of surviving India's caste system by Yashika Dutt. It's coming out from Beacon Press again, February 6th. And it's her tale. And it says, for the readers of Caste, was it Isabel Wilkerson who wrote that? This is the coming of age story of a Dalit individual that illuminates systemic injustice in India and its growing impact on U.S. society. Born into a formerly untouchable manual scavenging family in small-town India, Yashika Dutt was taught from a young age to not appear Dalit-looking. Blending her personal history with extensive research and reporting, Dutt provides an incriminating analysis of caste that traces how colonial British forces exploited and perpetuated a centuries-old caste system, how Gandhi could have been more forceful in combating prejudice, the role played by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, I don't know who that is, but I'll find out, and then how the caste system traveled to the U.S., its history here, and the continuation of bias by South Asian communities and professional sectors. Fascinating. This is the kind of stuff I gravitate to. I always wanted to learn more about other people's experiences culturally, and I've always been just so perplexed by the caste system in India and how it still goes on. And the Dalits, these untouchables, so quote unquote, So I think I might be, in addition to the Nasty Little War, I'm going to try to crank through two of these at the end of the year and into early January. So as you can see, I've got a very full plate, but good stuff. I like having a lot of things going on. I say that until I break out into shingles. No, that's Martine right now. She's got that. So please, prayers will be welcome. I'm going to try to do a picture for my thumbnail without breaking my wrist, holding up this huge stack of books. If you can, woo, look at that. And I still have some on the floor down there. What? You don't need to see that. Get out of here. Guys, I missed you. Sorry, I know it's been a couple of weeks, and let me know what you think of these books. I'm sorry for the almost an hour video, but sometimes when I get started, I'm like, let's just keep going. You can always pause it, come back later, watch it. I'm not a shorts type of gal. Everyone's telling me, do shorts, do shorts. I find shorts they frustrate me. When I find other people that I follow and I see shorts, I'm like, I want more than 30 seconds. I want to hear you talking about something in depth, and I want to see what you're doing and see what you're reading and just going with the flow. But that is my preference. I'm sure everyone else has another preference, but if you're dying for shorts, let me know. I don't know what I could possibly say in 30 seconds that would make you guys just, run to my channel. I really don't think I could do that. But anyway, it's what is it? A little bit after 3 here. I might try to make one more video so I can get another one out this week before Christmas. We're gonna have a quiet Christmas here. Christmas Day, I'm gonna we were supposed to have my sister and brother-in-law come over here for Christmas Eve, but with Martine feeling so unwell, she's given me the go ahead to I'm gonna head over to my sister's for Christmas Eve for a few hours, go to church, do a Christmas Eve service, but then we'll have Christmas Day here. Which reminds me, I've got to go. My to-do list never ends. I've got to buy stuff for Christmas Day dinner, like a ham. I need help, guys. Tell me what you guys eat on Christmas. I need some ideas that I can make that, I gotta make a meal. So, okay, guys, it's been fun talking to you. I miss you all. Let me know how you're doing below and if you're enjoying your early Christmas vacation. Hopefully you're on vacation. Okay, I'll just keep prattling on. But we're at 55 minutes. So thanks for joining me, guys, and I will talk to you soon. Be well and be safe. Bye.